What can you see, Tom?
Not too much, Linda. This isn't a very strong telescope.
It would be neat if there were a telescope powerful enough so that we could look right onto another planet, wouldn't it? But there isn't, and probably never will be.
I wonder what we'd see. Hey, just imagine if there were another room exactly like this one, only way out there in space somewhere on another planet.
And just imagine, instead of you and me, there would be two creatures from another planet looking through a telescope at our planet.
I wonder what they'd be trying to find out about our planet.
They'd probably be interested in the people on our planet rather than in just the planet itself.
Just imagine that. Two strange creatures on a strange planet in a room just like ours.
You realize, Lieutenant, that we must research this project thoroughly. Every detail. Do you hear me? Every detail.
Yes, Captain. Right away, Captain. Whatever you say, Captain.
Well, then, get busy. Start recording information. Get out your data information recording tablet.
Okay, Captain. Shoot.
I shall look into the viewer scope, and you shall record everything. Everything I see and everything I say. We'll start by giving this project a title. Let's see. We'll call it Human Life Processes.
Human life what's-this?
Human life processes. The things humans do that let us know they are living things.
So who cares if they are living things?
What did you say?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all, Captain. I was just getting down what you said. Human life processes.
I want to find out if they really are living things. These extraordinary beings we found on Earth.
Why?
Why? Because it's interesting. That's the best reason for finding out about anything. There we are. There are some Earth planet living things. Now, if I could just find a human. Got one. Marvelous. Now we'll see what we shall see. It's moving. Look, the human is moving. Oh, that's a good sign. Movement is a life process. All living things on the earth can move, and the humans are moving. Oh, you should just see them moving.
How can I see them? You won't let me anywhere near the viewer scope.
Quiet. I look, you record. Get it down, get it down. Humans move. Like all living things, they move. This research will make me famous. The more facts we get on humans, the more famous I'll be. So make sure you get it all down. Living things move, and so do humans.
Yeah, Captain. I got it. Humans are living things. You proved your point. Can we go home now?
All we have proved so far is that humans move. That doesn't tell us much at all.
Yes.
There are other processes we have to observe before we can be absolutely sure that they're living things.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
We are? Seems to me we're still in exactly the same place.
Fact number 2. Put it down. Put it down. Living things take in what they need, and look, the humans are taking in what they need. They're putting things in their mouths, and they're chewing. Oh, wonderful. They're taking in food. They're eating.
Lucky them.
Everywhere, all over the planet Earth, people are taking in nourishment, food and drink. Humans, like other living things, take in what they need. They take in food.
Food.
Have you got it down? Get it down! Get it down!
Okay already. I'm getting it. Who needs humans anyway?
What? What was that?
Oh, nothing. I said humans are a long way away.
Oh, marvelous. A real close-up right on the face. And I do believe that they're taking in something else as well as food.
I wish they'd take her in, viewer, scope and all.
They're taking in air.
Air? Where?
Oh, not in here, you space freak. On Earth. The Earth people, like all living things on Earth, need air to live. Just look at how they take it in. They take it in through the nose and the mouth, and then they let it out again.
Now, isn't that cute? Humans take in air through the mouth and through the nose, and when they've taken in the air, they let it out, I suppose.
Oh, get it down. Get it down. They breathe air all the time, and they breathe differently depending on what they're doing. Just look at them.
How can I look at them? You won't let me anywhere near the viewer scope. I don't even know what a human looks like. But if you say they're breathing, I guess they're breathing.
That's interesting. They don't breathe so hard when they're asleep. Now, did you get that last fact?
Yes. What was that last fact, ma'am?
Humans take in air. Now get it down. Humans take in what they need. Now get it down while I get back to my work. Oh, and here it is. The last bit of evidence. The last link in our chain of knowledge. Just look.
Do you want me to put that down, ma'am?
Young ones. Little humans. And they grow. Isn't that great news?
Fantastic. Little humans grow. Is that what I'm supposed to put down?
Yes. No. Be more accurate than that. More scientific. This is the research that will make me famous. So get it right. Humans can reproduce their own kind.
Humans can what?
Reproduce their own kind. Have young ones, like themselves. The little ones have a certain charm of their own, I suppose. A bit slobbery at times, and a tendency to make some unattractive noises. But as long as I don't have to live with them. They're small and helpless to begin with. And it seems they have two parents, a father and a mother. And sometimes they live together in a whole family. Oh, and the little ones tend to look like the parents.
Like produces like. Isn't that always the way with living things?
With living things on Earth it is. Living things can reproduce their own kind. And then the young ones grow and human babies grow. All over the Earth you can find humans in different stages of growth. They start off very small and then they get older, then bigger and older and bigger and they change and grow all the time. I've done it. I've got all the proof I need. Humans are living things like all the other living things on Earth.
Hooray for you, Captain. You'll be famous. 3 jolly old cheers for the captain. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray.
Oh, no need for that. Just as long as you've got it all down, I'll be famous as the one who discovered the truth about human life. Well, let's see what you've got down there. What? What's all that rubbish? You idiot. You ruined me. I'll never prove my research now. I'll have to start all over again. Oh, you are hopeless. Useless. Let's start again. Human life processes. Now, the first one was...
Tom? Hey, Tom. I'm not sure I like the idea of being watched from another planet.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. It's impossible, really. I mean, as far as scientists are able to tell, it's completely impossible for there to ever be a telescope strong enough to see from one planet to another. Or at least well enough to see if life exists on it. Just the same, I can't help wondering if there are space creatures, what they'd look for if they could see onto our planet.
Signs of life, probably. That's what we look for on another planet.
Yeah, I guess we'd look for the same life processes that humans have. Well, 4 life processes. That's all we'd really need to look for. Wonder which one we'd notice first.
I guess movement's the most obvious.
And eating, that's a good life process. And drinking. Well, taking in what we need. Oh, and breathing. That's another way we have of taking in what we need.
Reproduction, having young ones just like themselves. That's still another life process. And then there's growth. All living things grow, so we'd have to look for growth.
I know it's impossible, but I still think it's fun to imagine that there might be creatures on another planet who'd like to know more about human life processes. Wow. There must be millions and millions of stars out there. Stars we don't know anything about. Just look at them all, Linda.
Probably thousands of planets, too, Tom. Maybe even some planets very much like our own planet Earth.
I think it's fun to pretend that somewhere, way out there, there might be some kind of space creatures living on another planet who'd like to know more about the Earth.
We might even pretend that somewhere, way out there right now, there might be some space creatures trying to find out about human life.
No, I know it's impossible, but still, it's fun to imagine it.
I do wish we knew more about human life on the planet Earth. Oh, if only I had a real human to study, I could make some tremendous discoveries. And then I'd be famous. I know. You must go to Earth and get me a human.
Me? Get a human? But I don't even know what a human is. All I ever do is take notes. You're the one who looks in the viewer scope. I never once saw a human.
Everybody knows what a human is. A human is a living thing. A human grows. And a human takes in certain things it needs to keep alive. That's all you need to know. So don't sit there arguing. Get down to Earth and bring me back a human.
So this is Earth. Nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. Now let's see. Where am I supposed to find a human? What did that old scientific sourpuss tell me? A human grows and takes in certain things. Let's see now. Oh, which of these is a human? Oh, let me take a closer look. I'll find something that is growing and taking in what it needs. Aha! That looks like a possible.
Here it is, Captain. I've done it. Here's your human. Oh, no, that's not a human, you idiot.
But it was growing. It was growing in Earth's soil. And it was taking in what it needs. See, I even put it in colored earth water. And you can see where the colored water went into it. So it's a living thing.
Yes, but it's not a human living thing. That's a plant.
But you told me.
I know what I told you. And now I'm going to tell you something else. You are going right back to Earth again, and this time you're going to do the job properly and bring me back a real human. Humans are living things, but they're different from other living things.
You mean I have to go back out there and risk life and limb with all those wild, ferocious outer space Earth beasties?
Don't be such a coward. You could become a hero for this.
Who cares?
Well, now let me give you some instructions so you can get it right this time. Humans move. And humans have baby humans just like themselves. So, find a human that moves and has a baby and you'll get it right.
Do I have to, Captain?
Yes, you have to go.
Oh, I wish she wouldn't do that. I'm sure it isn't good for me. Oh, look at all those living things everywhere. Some of them are moving, and some of them aren't. And some of them have young ones, and some of them don't. Now, how am I supposed to... Aha! I see just what I came for. Okay, human. Hold still so I can catch you. You're coming back with me to be part of scientific research.
Okay, Captain. Absolutely no mistakes this time. This one has everything you wanted.
I even brought the young ones along for the ride. A real live human with young. Oh, that's great. Maybe there's hope for you yet. Well, don't keep me in suspense. Show me, where's the human?
In there. Just gaze in wonder at your very own human.
You total space freak! Can't you do anything right? They're not humans!
But Captain, you said...
I know what I said, and I know what I meant, and you got it wrong again.
But they were moving. And the little ones looked just like the big ones. And they were eating. And they're sure to grow, so what's wrong with them?
I don't know. Don't bother me for answers. All I know is they're not humans. Oh, now what am I forgetting? What is there about a human that's different? Oh, I know. They have, what do you call them? Things that hang down by their side. Long thingamajigs that they can reach with. And at the end of these things, they have 5 smaller things that they can pick things up with. That's it. That's the difference.
Now that's what I call really helpful information.
So, that's what you have to look for. A human that has things hanging by the side with, what do you call them at the end? Well, so, off with you. And this time, get it right.
Now to find something that is a human, something that has thingamajigs at its side with whatchamacallits on the end of it that can be used for picking up things. Oh, just once I wish that crazy captain of mine would have let me look through her viewer scope. Well, then I'd know exactly what I'm looking for. But this time I'm going to get it right. I'll show that miserable, misguided missile.
Are you ready, Captain? Here's what you've always been waiting for. Your very own human.
Well, I'll have to see it to believe it. But I don't really see how you could have gone wrong this time.
Oh, I didn't, Captain. I didn't. This time, everything is right. Here it is.
You useless piece of atomic space dust! That's not a human!
But it has everything you said. It has hands and arms. That's what those things are called. The other living things I brought didn't have hands at all. So this has got to be a human. Look, it has fingers.
No, those, what did you call them? Hands, yes. They're not right. Not right at all. This animal can't use his hands the way a human can. Oh, if only I had a real human here, I could show you what I mean.
I give up. I've done my best. And I suggest, if you're so keen on the idea of getting a human, you go down to Earth and get it yourself.
Well, that's the best idea you've had for 700 years. We'll go together.
Now then, just you stay close by me, and I'll show you what we're looking for. I'll teach you the difference between humans and other living things. Look, there's one already. Look, that's a human.
That's a human? What's it doing?
Oh, the human is thinking.
Thinking? Oh, what's that?
Oh, using the mind. Humans use their minds as well as their bodies. Oh, they use their minds to work out problems and to get new ideas. Oh, now I remember. That's one way humans are different, in the way they use their minds.
Now what's your marvelous human doing?
The human is writing down ideas, using written words. Only humans do that. No other living things on Earth can write down ideas like that. Oh, and look, here comes another human. And now they're speaking. Oh, only humans can learn things through a spoken language like that. Speech. That's one thing that makes humans very different.
So humans speak and write, and that's how they pass on ideas to other humans. Is that the idea?
Oh, yes, but they have many other ways of passing on their thoughts, too. Look, that human is painting a picture.
Oh, look how she uses her thumb with her fingers to hold the paintbrush. I see what you mean about the human hand being different. But what are those humans doing? They're not painting.
No, they're making music. That's another way humans express their ideas. They make music. Oh, and they can write down the music so that other humans can join in and play and sing with them.
Oh, that is different. I see what you mean now about how humans are different from other living things. I like it.
Oh, and that's not all. Because of that special thumb, humans are able to use complex tools. Oh, and they can make all sorts of things. Oh, look at all the things humans can make. So there. Now you know what a human is. And now you know how humans are like other living things and how they're different.
Now we're going to get one. Let's catch that one.
No!
No! After all the carrying on you did about having your very own human, what do you mean, no?
I mean, no, we're not going to catch one. Oh, I think it's better to leave them where they belong. We've seen all we want to see, and we've learned all we need to know. So, let's go home.
Okay, time to get the information recorded.
What information?
The information that tells us how humans are different from other living things.
Let's see. How humans are different. Where will we begin?
Information about humans. I wonder if that's what creatures from another planet would really be interested in, if there were such things.
I wonder if they'd notice that humans are like other living things in some ways and different in some ways.
Hi, anybody home? Can I come in?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Robbie. Yeah, come on in. What are you guys doing?
Looking for something to do.
Well, what do you want to do?
Anything that needs doing. Hey, what are these?
Oh, just some photographs. I want to get them all put in the album.
This one looks like you. I bet it's someone in your family.
Yeah, that's my dad. Only look, he's got white hair, and I don't. I have a mustache, too, and he doesn't. So we're not really the same. Even though we do look a little bit alike. You know, everybody in the world's a little different from everybody else. I like to look for the differences.
You ought to be a detective.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of neat to be a detective. Help people solve their problems. I think I'd have my own office, and I'd call it the Detective Den. Whenever I went into it, you know, I'd be in charge of everything, and people would come to me whenever they wanted anything solved. You know, we could pretend the patio was the Detective Den, and you guys could be the guys with the problem.
All right.
Come in.
We've lost her. We lost Mrs. Marshmallow. She came for a walk with us in the park and we've lost her. You've got to help us find her.
Well, who is Mrs. Marshmallow?
That's not her real name. She's our neighbor. We call her Mrs. Marshmallow because that's what she looks like. She's soft and cuddly, and she has white hair.
Oh, well, then the case is almost solved. Well, that's your first clue. She's got white hair. And your second clue is, she's cuddly. So all you have to do is look for somebody that fits that description.
That shouldn't be too hard. Well, let's go. Let's go and find her.
Oh, wait a minute. You don't have enough facts. No. There must be hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of women that got white hair and are cuddly. Now I'll have to wait for those crazy kids to come back so I can tell them a thing or two about the differences in people.
We didn't find her. We asked everyone in park, but no one's seen her. We thought we'd found her. There was a lady who was cuddly and had white hair. But when we got up to her, it wasn't Miss Marshmallow at all. Someone who looked sort of different.
That's what I would have told you if you'd stayed and listened to me. You see, those two facts aren't enough to pick out one person from all the others. Well, you know that every person in the world is a little bit different from every other person, right? Well, you need to find the details that are different.
Like the fact that she's not too tall? I mean, not much taller than me?
Well, now that's a good fact.
And she's sort of heavy. Is that what you need to know?
It helps. Now you know she's sort of heavy, she's not too tall, she's got white hair, and she's cuddly. Now we're getting somewhere.
Let's go ask some people if they've seen her.
Those two are in such a hurry. They still don't have enough facts to find Mrs. Marshmallow. I mean, nobody's going to recognize her from that much information.
You're not much of a detective. We still haven't found her. People said they seen her, but it wasn't Miss Marshmallow they saw. Only someone who looked a bit like her.
Well, you gotta tell people more about what makes Mrs. Marshmallow different from everybody else. More facts.
More facts? We told you everything we know about her.
Have you? I doubt it. Think again. Everybody in this world is different from everybody else. So what else is there about Mrs. Marshmallow that makes her her?
I know, she's got blue eyes.
Useful fact.
And she has a dimple on her chin, and it shows when she smiles.
That's better.
And her hair is short and curly.
Much better. Now we're getting some facts. There probably aren't nearly so many people in the world that look exactly like that. Now we might start to get somewhere.
Everyone's seen her. They all say she was down by the ice cream cart. The only problem is the ice cream cart's gone home, and there's still no sign of Mrs. Marshmallow.
Well, we'll just have to put up a notice. I made one up for you just in case you'd need it.
Lost, stolen, or strayed. Mrs. Marshmallow. If found, please return to the detective den. Reward? Hey, there's a whole description at the bottom. I bet we'll be able to find her now.
Okay, here's what you do. Take this down to the park. Put it up somewhere where everyone will see it. And then we'll find out what happens. Relax, kid, relax. These things may take a little time, but somebody's bound to come along with some information soon.
Well, Robbie's at the park just in case. But I bet we'll never find her.
See, what did I tell you? Come in.
I'm here for the reward. I'm Mrs. Marshmallow.
You're not Mrs. Marshmallow.
Well, she does look like your description, a bit.
But that's not Mrs. Marshmallow. I can prove it. Here, write your name. I told you that wasn't Mrs. Marshmallow. Mrs. Marshmallow's left-handed. And this woman wrote with her right hand.
Now, that was a good fact. Some people are left-handed. Of course, there's other differences we can look for, too. Like, some people have earlobes close to their heads. Now, other people have earlobes that hang free.
Some of the differences we get from our parents, like the color of our skin and our eyes, and even the color of our hair. And yet, even then, nobody ever looks exactly the same as their parents.
Come in.
Okay, where's the reward? Here's your Mrs. Marshmallow.
But I'm not Mrs. Marshmallow. I just want to be left alone.
She does look an awful lot like the description.
I'll soon prove it she's Mrs. Marshmallow. Wiggle your ears.
Wiggle my ears? Good heavens, child, I can't wiggle my ears.
Well, Mrs. Marshmallow can. She's got the wiggliest ears in the world.
That's another interesting fact. Some people can wiggle their ears. Some can't. Some people can wriggle the skin on their heads. Others can't. And some people can curl up their tongues. Yes?
Are you by any chance looking for a little lady that's real cuddly, has short white hair, and blue eyes, and has a dimple in her chin, and loves ice cream.
Mrs. Marshmallow, where have you been?
Oh, I've been locked in the ice cream truck. I went in to look at all the different kinds of ice cream, and I got locked in. But when the ice cream man let me out, I saw your notice. Here I am.
Yes, I guess she really does fit the description.
There's no one in the world who looks quite like that.
But there are a lot of people in the world that love ice cream. And I brought some for all of us as a reward.
And here's Robbie coming. You bet he wouldn't miss out on the ice cream.
Yeah, I bet I could solve all the problems. Just by getting to the facts.
Like the facts about missing people?
Yeah. Now, if I were looking for you, I'd get a description of you first.
What would your description have in it?
Well, information about your height and your weight and your eyes and your hair and your skin. Oh, here, stand up. Okay, now, I'd say you're about 135 centimeters tall, weigh maybe 36 kilograms. You have dark brown eyes, sort of a short afro, and brown skin.
Hey, that's what I look like.
Oh, yeah, you do fit the description, but you don't really look alike. Let's see what's different. Okay, first of all, Robbie, I think you're a little taller than Chris. And, okay, Chris has got a lot higher forehead. See, Robbie, your hair comes down over your forehead more. And, oh, Chris, you've got a gap between your front teeth, and Robbie doesn't. I guess it goes to show that people can be a lot alike and still look really different.
I can do this. Gee, I can't.
See, I can do it, too. So, Robbie and I are alike in that way, although we're different in a lot of other ways, too. Everybody in the world's a little different from everybody else. Well, for example, what's different about this person? What particular things would you talk about in describing this person? Yeah, you could talk about age, and hair, and teeth, color of eyes, color of skin, and color of hair, what there is of it. Now try this one. How would you describe her? As well as talking about general features, you can add to a description by talking about expression, can't you? What sort of expression does this person have? Now, how about this extraordinary creature? What could you say? Here's a familiar face. How would you describe this person?
What's different about you? How would you describe yourself so someone could pick you out in a large crowd?
Come in.
Hi, Linda. Hi,
Oh,
Tom.
hi, Annis. Come
Hi.
in. Oh, I'm glad you could come over today. Boy, do we need to rehearse.
I figured we need to try out these costumes, too. Oh, this is Marcia. She's agreed to help us out.
Hi. I don't know that I'm much of an actor, but I'll try. I don't even really know what this is all about.
Oh, we're doing a variety show on Friday. It's to raise money for a charity.
Yeah, we're doing this thing about the systems of the body.
The systems of the body?
Yeah, you know, the body has several different systems in it, like the digestive system.
Oh, that's a system that breaks up the food we eat so the body can use it.
Right, and the respiratory system?
For taking oxygen from the air we breathe.
Uh-huh, and the circulatory system?
Oh, that's the one that deals with moving blood in the body, right?
Right, and then there's other systems too. There's the nervous system. Now that's a biggie. It's through the nervous system that we're aware of everything outside us. So.
Hey, let's see how these costumes work.
Okay.
One of the best parts about acting in a play is the costumes.
What do we have to do?
Well, take some of these pieces and pin them on, depending on which system you are.
Well, how do we know who has which piece? I mean, they're all muddled up in the box together.
Oh, well, I think if we just take out one piece at a time, we should be able to work out who needs what.
Before we do that, I'd like to know who's playing which part.
Oh, okay. I'm the nervous system. That lets us use our senses. And, yeah, I think this is one of my pieces. It's supposed to look like a brain, see? Now, my opening lines go like this. I am the nervous system. I handle all messages, and most of the body's movements, whether they're big or small. The brain is my center of action.
Okay, hold it just a minute, Tom. Now we know that you're the nervous system. Let's go on to the other parts. I'm the respiratory system, the one that takes oxygen from the air for the body to use. And this is a part of what I'm supposed to wear. I guess the nose is a pretty important part of breathing. How does that line of mine go? My main work is done in the lungs here, but my job really starts up there, on the face where the nose and the mouth are, to bring in supplies of fresh air.
So that leaves the blood circulatory system and the food or digestive system. Which one am I?
Well, I'm the digestive system, which deals with breaking down the foods we eat so the body can use them. I guess this big mouth is for me. I like my opening lines. All types of people love eating. Eating is wonderful fun. But the mouth is just the beginning. After that, there's work to be done.
So that makes me the blood circulatory system. Well, which out of all these bits and pieces is my costume? How about this?
Oh, what is it?
Well, I think it's a lung. Is a lung part of my system?
Well, blood does travel to the lungs, but I wouldn't say it's one of the major parts of the blood transport system.
Hey, that's the piece I need. Lungs are a very important part of the respiratory system. This goes right here. There should be another one of these in there somewhere. Everyone should have 2 lungs. There should be another piece in there that's sort of sac-shaped. That's what lungs are, sacs that hold the air as we breathe in.
Hey, has anybody seen a long spinal cord? I need it for that line of mine that says, down the back is the long spinal cord.
Is this what you mean?
Oh, yeah. Here.
I guess it's meant to be a spinal cord.
Thanks. I need the spinal cord, because it helps to pass on information to and from the brain where all knowledge is stored. Good. How's your costume coming, Linda? Oh, you've got your nose, and I see you've got a mouth now, too. That's another place where air goes in and out of the body, right? And you've got both lungs in place.
Yeah, but I can't find that piece that connects the nose and mouth to the lungs, the trachea. No one can breathe without that piece. It's the windpipe that goes all the way down here from the nose and mouth to the lungs. Gosh, I hope it's in here somewhere.
Hey, this is me, this great big heart. The heart's got to be the most important part of the blood circulatory system.
The main pump, you might say.
Oh, here's another biggish piece, but I don't think it's mine. See, what is it?
That's my main center of action. That's the stomach. That goes right here. Lovely stomach. That's where all the yummy food goes. Of course, it's not the end of the food's journey. What do my lines say? Oh, the stomach has so much to do. It's a bag full of muscles and juices that change food to be useful to you. How did that sound? Did that sound like a stomach?
Good.
Hey. Good.
Maybe you could do that part like a stomach that doesn't have much food in it. One that only has stomach juices in it. And then you could growl a lot.
From the stomach, the journey continues. Food goes to the intestines small.
Well, its name comes about because it's narrow, but in length it is not small at all.
Ah, then this must be the small intestine. See, it's all folded up the way the small intestine is inside the body. Boy, if you ever stretched it all out, though, it sure would be long enough.
Oh, wait, thank you. That's just what I needed.
What are these strange-looking things? They look like gloves with colored fingertips.
And that, my dear, is exactly what they are.
You mean they're part of your costume? What are they?
Fingertips.
Are fingers part of the nervous system?
Of course, my dear. There are nerve endings in every part of your body.
That's how you're able to do things. The brain directs various parts of the body to carry out actions.
But I still don't understand about the fingertips.
And what about this brightly colored nose? Is this part of your costume too, Tom?
Ah, it certainly is. And these ears, yes.
So I guess these eyes are yours too.
Right. Oh, and this marvelous mouth.
Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, fingertips. I get it, the 5 senses. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch.
Exactly. It's the brain that receives messages from the 5 senses. And as we all know, it's the 5 senses that help us know so much about the world. I think my costume's complete now. Let's just review the situation. I am the nervous system, and my main parts are brain, spinal cord, and nerve endings, which deal with sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Nervous system, ready to go.
And I'm all here except for one piece. I'm missing an esophagus.
A what?
Esophagus. Isn't that a neat sounding word? All it means is food tube. The bit that goes from the mouth, where the food is taken in, to the stomach.
Hey, is this it? Looks a bit like my windpipe.
It sure does. But we don't want to get those two mixed up. If you get food in the windpipe, it isn't funny. It makes you cough and choke. It's not at all nice. Ah, that's what I needed. Let's see. Digestive system, pieces in order. Mouth, where food is taken in and saliva begins to break it down. Esophagus, food pipe, down which food travels to the stomach. Stomach, where juices work to break down food further. Small intestine, where more juices go to work, so the food is broken down enough to be passed by the blood into every cell in the body. Large intestine, from where all waste is passed out of the body. Everything that isn't waste goes into the bloodstream to feed every cell in the body. Digestive system ready to go. How about you, Linda?
Well, I think I'm ready. Let's have a final check. Respiratory system, nose and mouth for taking in air. Windpipe for taking the air from the nose and mouth to the lungs. Lungs, where the oxygen gas is taken from the air. And it's in the lungs that the oxygen is passed into the bloodstream. And the waste, carbon dioxide, is passed back to the lungs and out of the body. Oh, and look at this. This is the diaphragm. It's a strong muscle that helps the lungs move so they can get bigger or smaller. Respiratory system ready to go.
Well, I'm not ready. I think they forgot to pack most of my costume. All I've got so far is the heart. And there's got to be more to the blood circulatory system than that.
Well, wasn't there anything else in the box?
Only these 2 rolls of tape, but I can't see that they'd be much use to me.
Well, let's see. What else does the blood circulatory system have to it?
Some way of getting blood from the heart to every cell in the body and back again.
Okay, that must be what the tape's for, to make blood vessels.
Oh, you mean I have to stick on the arteries and veins and capillaries myself?
I think that's the general idea. Here, I'll help you. We'll use the red tape for the arteries and the blue for the veins.
The arteries are big vessels that carry blood from the heart. So I can put this strip like this.
And then it travels down the arm like this.
The veins carry blood back to the heart. The veins and arteries run side by side. So I can put this blue strip right beside the other one.
While we're finishing the blood circulatory system, why don't you two go check the stage?
Okay, that's a good idea. Here's the body, and all the systems will be inside it when we start the act.
It's a good thing we're only doing some of the body systems. I mean, if we try to do them all, we'd never fit them in the box.
Okay, I'm ready. At least my costume is.
See, she has the heart, the main pump, and she has some of the main blood vessels for carrying the blood throughout the body.
Oh, I guess you couldn't show all the blood vessels, especially the really tiny ones.
Oh, you mean the capillaries?
Yeah, that network of really fine vessels all through the body.
No, you need a microscope to see those. So I'm only showing some of the main ones.
Yeah. Okay, places, everybody. We'll all be inside the box, right? Only I'll come out first, just to show how important the nervous system is. Oh, well, if it weren't for the nervous system, I mean, none of the others would work, right? Come on, let's go. Okay, I think we're ready for a rehearsal of All Systems Go.
Your body has systems inside it that reach from your toes to your hair. And here are the systems we'll show you. They deal with nerves, food,
Blood and air.
systems,
There's oxygen.
nerve, food,
And blood transport too.
systems, all work together for you.
I am the nervous system that helps with your 5 senses, and my main parts are brain, spinal cord, and nerve endings.
I'm the digestive system. I help break down food, and my main parts are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine.
And I'm the respiratory system, the one that takes oxygen from the air. And my main parts are nose and mouth, windpipe, lungs, diaphragm.
I'm the blood circulatory system, the one that deals with moving blood throughout the body. And my main parts are heart, blood vessels. Oh.
And those are the systems we'll show you. So now it's All Systems Go.
Systems, they're on the inside though they don't show. Systems, be sure that it's all systems go.
I'm glad you came over today, Kathy. You can help me with my baking.
What are you making?
Oh, several things. Hey, you don't look very happy today. What's the matter?
It's my birthday.
Yes, I know, but why should that make you so unhappy?
I don't like birthdays.
Why? Here, would you stir that, please?
I don't know. I always do the same thing on my birthday, and I'm just getting older all the time. Soon I'm going to be 400.
Oh, you poor old thing, you. You're missing the best part of birthdays, Kathy. Birthdays don't just mean you're getting older. They mean you're changing also. Every year you're different than what you were the year before.
I am? How come?
Would you like to scrape this? Well, because that's how people are. We grow and change all the time. You know what we need? A spirit of birthdays. I imagine if there were such a thing as a spirit of birthdays that could take you to see different birthdays at different ages, you'd feel a whole lot better about birthdays.
Okay, let's pretend there is such a spirit. It will be tall and spooky, and it would have a special gadget that could whisk us through the time super quickly. Yes, I can just imagine what that would be like.
So, you've grown tired of birthdays already, have you? It wasn't always like that, was it?
I guess not. I liked him once.
You know, maybe there was even a time when you had no idea at all what was going on at a birthday. Do you remember what it was like to be 1 year old? Oh, well then, maybe we should go to see a baby's birthday. Magic power, if you're able, take us to a 1-year-old's birthday table. 1 year old today, 1 whole year of life. They're still babies, but each having his very own birthday.
But they're hardly old enough to know what's going on.
True. On his first birthday, a baby doesn't know or do very much. Most babies that age can't talk, and some of them can't walk either. And they don't have too many teeth. So there are some party foods they can't enjoy.
And they can't play party games and things, can they?
Right again. A baby's muscles aren't strong enough or well-trained enough to enjoy things like party games.
The other people seem to be enjoying the party a lot more than the babies. See, I told you birthdays weren't much fun.
Now, let's not decide too soon. Babies do a lot of growing and changing very quickly, you know. Just a few more years and those little ones will look and be very different. There's a big difference between a baby and a child. I could show you that difference if we went to visit the birthday party of a child.
Okay, let's go to a child's birthday.
Very well then. As they say in the best magic stories, your wish is my command. Magic powers, without going wild, take us to the birthday of a child. So, what do you think of this birthday?
Well, they're not babies.
How do you know?
They're bigger for one thing, and they've got lots more hair, and they've got more teeth, and some of them have gaps where their teeth have fallen out, and they're a lot more grown up than babies.
I told you, babies grow and change fast. And they keep on growing and changing fast while they're children. And it's not just that they look different.
No, they're acting differently too. They can run and stand up and play party games, and all sorts of things that the babies can't do.
And that's because children learn a lot in the early years of their lives. As they grow, they learn how to use their bodies, how to control their muscles, and make their arms and legs do the things they want them to do. Whoops! Well, of course, there are still occasional accidents because their young muscles aren't completely developed and coordinated.
And I guess they're still not as strong as they'd like to be.
But they're still much stronger than babies. There are lots of differences between a baby and a child. Babies grow and develop very quickly, and so do children. And all that growing makes them change a lot.
But there are still some things that children can't do. Look at that magician. He's not a child.
That's right. What he's doing takes years of training. A child hasn't had that many years. Let's watch the show for a while. It looks good.
It looks like a magic wand. It's a dust. Oh, that's a... Oh, well, here, how about that magic wand? Wave the magic wand. Oh, boy. I hope it worked, because if it doesn't, you know what's going to happen. Yes. Let's see how good his magic really was. Here we go. Oh. Oh, so far, so good. You think it was good enough that we can put 2 of them in there? Let's try it. Oh. We did it! Can you see the knives up in there? Oh, now comes the... Oh, this is the hard part. Can you wave the magic wand backwards?
The magic wand.
Well, oh, he says it's not a magic wand. Well, we'll take... Does that look anything? Oh, hold it. You've got the wrong end. Can you wave it backwards over the balloon? Oh, because see, now what we want to do is to get the knives out without breaking the balloon. Oh, I hope we can do that. Let's try it and see. Oh, so far so good. Here. Boy, I hope his magic was good. You know what? I think he did it. Right there, we have one. Oh.
Hey, you think I might be able to do that when I grow up?
Maybe. But before you're grown up, you'll have to be an adolescent.
A what?
An adolescent. That's just another name for teenager. Someone that's between being a child and being an adult. Hey, would you like to see a teenage birthday?
Do they grow as fast as children? These, what did you say?
Adolescents. Yes, indeed they do. In fact, for some people, their adolescent years are the ones in which they do the most growing. Let's take a look.
Okay, that sounds good.
And I thought you didn't like birthdays.
Well, other people's birthdays are okay.
Here we go, then. Magic power in our presence. Take us to the world of adolescence. Ooh, how's that?
Okay, those are teenagers. See, most of them are bigger than the children, and yet they still look young, and they don't have gaps in their teeth anymore.
Teenagers who look after their teeth should have all of them at this age. A lot of growing happens in these teenage years, and young people sometimes grow at different rates. See, those people are not the same size, even if they are about the same age. And at this age, it's easier to tell which of them will grow up to be men and which will be women.
They all seem to be enjoying themselves.
True, but I can't help wondering, is that all they ever do? Dance and listen to music?
No, teenagers can do lots of things, you know that.
Ooh, well, I guess you're right. Lots of teenagers have jobs, don't they? Even the younger teenagers, 13 and 14, can do some jobs. Grass cutting and babysitting, things like that. And as they get older, they take on more and more responsibility.
Some teenagers are good at sports, too. And some of them are even in the Olympic Games.
And I guess lots of them are good musicians, too.
I wish I was a teenager.
Oh, you will be, but only if you keep having birthdays. You'll continue to change and to grow until you're just like those adolescents there. But, of course, you won't stop at adolescence.
You mean I've got to go on and get older?
Yes, you'll go on and become an adult. That's the way it is with people. Baby, child, adolescent, adult.
But what if I don't want to grow up? What if I don't want to be an adult?
Oh, you want to when you get there. That's one of the nice things about growing up. Every age and every stage has its own good things, which you enjoy when you get there. Of course, there always are some grouchy people who never enjoy anything or any age, but they're the ones who miss a lot. You think being a teenager is fun? Well, being an adult can be great, too. Let me see if I can get this broken down, moth-eaten magic power of mine to take us to an adult party. Hold on tight, we're on our way to see an adult at his birthday. Here we are in the world of adults. They don't look so bad, do they?
They seem to be enjoying themselves.
Sure, life can be pretty nice when you're an adult. Lots of friends around to share things with. They look happy enough.
But look at their faces. Some of them are wrinkled.
Lined? Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. Face lines are very interesting. Just look at a face with lines on it. Look carefully now. You can learn a lot about people by the lines on their faces.
Yeah, some people get terrible frown lines if they're angry a lot, and others get happy laugh lines around their eyes, and it makes them look sort of friendly.
So, what sort of lines are you going to have when you're an adult?
I don't know. I never thought about it.
Well, now's the time to think about it. It takes a long time for those lines to form, and they start when you're a child. So perhaps you'd better start thinking about whether you're going to be a happy or a crotchety adult.
They don't look as active as some of the teenagers. They seem just to be standing around, sort of doing nothing.
True. On the whole, adults aren't as active as teenagers. Adults aren't growing anymore, so they don't feel the need for so much exercise. But in fact, they do need exercise. Adults should remember that. And they should remember the importance of a balanced diet. even if they aren't as hungry as teenagers, as often as teenagers, they should always remember the importance of the right foods for good health.
Why do some adults have gray hair?
Oh, that's just a part of growing older. The face changes and the hair changes to match it. Gray or white hair is sort of soft, so it suits older skin.
Adults don't do as much as young people, do they? I mean, they don't play lots of games and things.
Some adults do a great deal more than you think. The trouble is, some people think that when you get older, you have to slow down and get weak. But take a look at this.
These people are all over 60, and they're still very active, working with children who need special care, helping people who are in the hospital, making meals for shut-ins, even looking after pets for people. They have fun, too, with parties and trips to places all over the country. Some of them even receive prizes for the work they do in their communities.
See what I mean? Adults can be active even when they're older. Of course, most adults do slow down a bit, and maybe have to wear glasses and things, but life is still fun if you look after yourself. So, now you've seen it all. Baby, child, adolescent, adult. Which one do you want to be?
I think, I just want to be me. What will my next birthday be like? I want you to show me that.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's only one way to find out what you'll be like on your next birthday, and that's to wait until it happens.
But that seems such a long way away. I can hardly wait for it. I'm really looking forward to my next birthday, and I think I'm going to start enjoying this one right now.
You are? Well, that's good news. Everyone should enjoy their birthday. Hey, close your eyes. Don't peek. Okay. Happy birthday, Kathy.
Casting.
Do you think this one will recover, Tom?
Oh, I hope so. I think it might just need some more water. Well, I'm glad I don't feel like that, all droopy and weak. You'd have to be feeling pretty sick to look that bad.
It's probably not as sick as it looks, but it would help if plants could tell us what's wrong with them. It'd make it a lot easier to keep them healthy.
Yeah, at least people can speak for themselves when they're not feeling well. Personally, I'm all for being healthy all the time. I mean, being healthy makes you feel great. Now, old Gramps here, that was my great-grandfather, you know. He was a great believer in good health, too. He always used to say, if you've got your health, you've got everything.
But good health isn't something you can always have just because you want it. Even if you do take good care of yourself, things can go wrong sometimes.
True, but you might as well help yourself as much as you can. You know, Gramps had a word for keeping healthy. Creft.
Creft? What does that mean?
That's just what Gramps always used to say. He said, if you look after Creft, you're doing a lot to help yourself.
But what does it mean?
Well, Creft. C-R-E-F-T. You see, each letter stands for one important thing you can do to take care of yourself. And just look what a healthy old guy Gramps was. Well, here he is at the end of a typical day. And that's how he took care of that first letter of the word Creft, the letter C. See if you can work out what the word Creft means. It's not hard to see what the C stands for, is it?
C for cleanliness. Keeping clean is an important part of good health, and drying thoroughly after bathing. I see Gramps is careful about drying behind his ears.
Okay, let's look at this next lot of pictures. That should show us something about the R in the word Kreft.
It's easy to see what R stands for. R is for rest.
Gramps always insisted on a full 8 hours of sleep every night. He said, a man can't be at his best if he doesn't get his rest.
Not everyone needs a full 8 hours of sleep at night. Some people get along quite nicely with less. And then, of course, there are some people, especially young people, who need more than that. It's pretty much an individual thing, but the important thing is to get enough rest.
And when Gramps was well rested, he was ready for the start of a new day. And for that E in the word Kreft, look at these next pictures. It's easy to see what the E is for.
Obviously, E is for exercise.
Gramps liked to take his exercise early in the morning. He said the world looks best first thing in the morning, and jogging was his favorite exercise. Of course, jogging isn't the only good way to get exercise, but the important thing is that exercise does help keep the body healthy.
One thing about exercise, it makes you hungry. I bet Gramps had a good appetite.
And that, of course, is the F in the word Kreft. Food. So now we have C for cleanliness, R for rest, E for exercise, and F for food. And Gramps was pretty fussy about food. Look, he even kept pictures of the kinds of foods he said were good for him. He was very big on what he called balancing the diet.
And that's why he chose these foods with natural carbohydrates in them. And these with lots of proteins in them. And these fresh fruits and vegetables with minerals and vitamins.
And he did allow for some natural fats and sugars. The things he didn't like were lots of sweet stuff made from refined sugars and too many fatty things. He knew they weren't good for him.
Okay, now we know what C stands for, and R, and E, and F. But what about the T? What does the T stand for?
Now take a look at the next picture. Can you tell from that?
T is for teeth.
Right. Gramps had wonderful teeth all through his life. He took great care of them, and he always followed his dentist's instructions to the letter. So, there you have it. Old Gramps and the Kreft plan.
I guess we could all follow the Kreft plan for good health. C for cleanliness, R for rest, E for exercise, F for food, good food that is, and T for proper tooth care. But even if we follow all of these things to take care of ourselves, there may be times when we get sick and need some help.
And that's why we have doctors and dentists and clinics and things to look after us when we can't look after ourselves.
There's a story about those public health services. It's a story you can all join in. You see there are blanks in the story where certain words have been left out. See if you can find what word fits in each blank. The words you will need are dentist, doctor, clinic, ambulance, hospital. Those are all public health services that can help us when we're not able to care for ourselves. Listen again to each word and then listen carefully to the story and see if you can put the right word in the right blanks. Dentist, doctor, clinic, ambulance, hospital. And here's the story.
There once was a fellow who was using a hoe. While using the hoe, he broke his big toe. He went to his neighbor. His neighbor said, "Neighbor, how can I help?"
"Oh," said the fellow, who didn't quite know, "let's just tie this bandage around my big toe."
"A bandage? Oh no," said the neighbor. This shocked her. "You need proper treatment. You're needing a..." We're off to the doctor. That's the one who will know just what's to be done to fix up that toe.
Doctors work closely with their patients, carrying out routine examinations, advising parents, calling in specialists if they're needed. Doctors take care of all kinds of troubles. When necessary, they order x-rays or different types of tests, or medicine that will help their patients get well.
One day the fellow had a pain in his tooth. He'd forgotten to clean them. I'm afraid that's the truth. He went to his neighbor. His neighbor said, "Neighbor, how can I help?" "Oh," said the fellow who was feeling the pain, "just pull it right out, then it won't hurt again." "No, don't pull it out," said the neighbor. "I insist. What you need is help from a skillful..." Dentists are people who know what to do to keep your teeth healthy and working for you.
The dentist is the person who helps you take care of your teeth. The dentist may order x-rays of your teeth from time to time to be sure that your teeth are healthy. X-rays let him see what is happening inside the teeth and under the gums. The dentist knows that keeping clean is part of staying healthy. The dentist also knows that a relaxed patient is easier to treat. So while he is washing his hands, this dentist chats with his patient and tells him what he's going to do. This dentist and his patient are good friends because the boy knows that the dentist is there to help him. This dentist is showing a young patient that there's nothing to be afraid of at the dentist's office. He lets the little girl watch while her older sister has her teeth examined. As he works, he explains what he is doing. Everyone should remember that the dentist is a friend, a good friend who helps us look after our teeth.
Then one day the fellow was wanting to know how to get special help for a small friend, and so he went to his neighbor. His neighbor said, "Neighbor, I know what to do. There are centers to help special cases, and so one of those centers is where you should go. For those who need help but are not really sick, the right place to go might be There are clinics to help with all sorts of cases. Clinics can be the most helpful of places.
Clinics help people with special problems, such as difficulties with reading and difficulties with speech. Some clinics help with muscle training. Specially trained therapists work with patients doing special exercises. And some clinics help people who've had accidents so they can learn to walk again.
Then one day the neighbor was out in the yard, and she saw the old fellow just breathing so hard. She went to her neighbor. The neighbor said, "Neighbor, I really feel bad." There, said the neighbor. "Let's not take a chance. I'll call right away for the local paramedics on board. Will give you some aid, so you'll soon feel much better. Now, don't be afraid. Now, just you relax. Have no worry at all. They'll take you right off to a good..."
When an accident happens, paramedics are the people who come with the ambulance and take care of the injured person. Paramedics are not doctors, but they are specially trained in first aid, so they know how to take care of an injured person before he goes to the hospital. This boy has a badly broken leg, and the paramedics have special bandages and splints to pack the leg so it will be protected as they take the boy to the hospital in the ambulance. The paramedics also strap the boy's foot into place, pulling it down and holding it in a strong brace so the broken bone will not slip. To be perfectly sure the injured limb is protected, the paramedics have a special inflatable bag that makes a cushion of air around the broken leg. They zip the bag up tight and then blow into the bag to fill it with air. and then the patient is ready to be moved safely. The paramedics put the patient onto a stretcher and carry him to the ambulance, which will take him to the hospital. From the moment you walk through the door of a hospital, there are people busy doing things to help you. Hospitals provide care for people who are sick. Hospitals have special services to help accident victims. Hospital nurses help their patients in all sorts of ways. Hospitals help when you cannot help yourself.
And now the old fellow is well and can tell about ways to get help when you're not feeling well. There are doctors and dentists and hospitals too, and ambulance workers to take care of you, and clinics and places that have special ways to help you keep healthy through all of your days.
Well, I'm glad the old fellow was all right. Fortunately, his neighbor knew how to help. I think it's a good idea for everybody to know who to call if help is needed.
You know, I like to keep special telephone numbers like the doctor and the dentist and the ambulance, and the fire department pasted right on the side of the telephone just in case.
But as long as we're feeling healthy, let's try and stay that way.
Well, I think by now I'm pretty much aware of the things I need to do to try to stay healthy. How about you? What do you think you can do to try to stay in good health?
What on earth is the earth made of? That's the question the little girl in this story has to answer. The story is called The Terrible Troll and the Materials of the Earth. And this is how the story begins. One day, a little girl was skipping happily through the woods.
Abracadabra, kazamba, kazabe, you must be forever my slave, and do whatever I tell you to do for 100 years, or maybe 2. There's only one way you'll ever get free, and that will be if you can tell me what materials you would need to make the earth. Then you'll be freed.
That's impossible. How could I ever tell you all the materials the earth is made of?
Well, if you can't tell me, then you'll just have to be my slave. Oh, I've always wanted a slave of my very own. I'll give you 3 days to come up with the list. 3 days, that's all.
That's impossible. How could I ever tell him all the materials needed to make up the earth? How would I even know what those things are?
Oh, I wouldn't be so miserable if I were you. That's really not such an impossible task.
Well, that's very well for you to say. You don't have to be the troll's slave. It'll take me forever to find out what all the earth materials are.
Well then, don't.
Don't? You mean I should just stand here and not even try to save myself? You mean I should agree to be a slave forever?
Oh, no. I mean, don't find out all the things that make up the earth.
But that's what the troll said I had to do.
No, he didn't. All he said was to tell him what materials he would need to make the earth.
That's the same thing.
No, it isn't. Materials means, not the things themselves, but what they're made of. Here, I'll give you a clue. Take a look at that rock. Go on. Feel it. Think about it.
Well, it's hard. It's a solid.
What was that last word you said?
A solid. A solid is something that keeps its own shape, and solids are... Solids! That's what the Earth is made of!
Like the rock and the ice in my bucket.
Oh, wait till I tell that terrible troll. The Earth is made of solids.
Tell the troll? Tell the troll? Oh, if he's coming back, I'm going.
Goodbye. Thank you.
So, your first day is over. I bet you don't know the answer to the question. I bet you can't tell me what materials would be needed to make the Earth.
I can too. You need solids.
Solids? What do you mean by solids?
I wonder what the little girl did mean. Obviously, rocks are solids. Rocks are made of a mixture of minerals.
But some rocks have bigger pieces of mineral in them, like these pieces of galena in this dollar stone.
Or the fine seams of gold in this rock. So I guess the solids the Earth is made of are rocks and minerals.
Look at this. It's a geode. It looks solid right through. But look inside. Earth rocks come in many different types.
So I wonder if that's the solids the little girl was talking about. Let's find out.
Solids? What do you mean by solids?
Solids like soil and rocks and minerals, things like that. And that ice in that bucket. They're all solids, and they are all materials that make up our Earth.
Oh, bother! You tricked me. Now I won't have you as my slave for 100 years. You aren't fair. Hey, wait a minute. Let me see that bucket. This ice may be solid now, but how about now? I've melted it. Now it's not a solid anymore. And hey, what about the water in that river over there? That's not a solid either. Not all Earth materials are solids, so you're not so smart. Now you've only got 2 more days to come up with that list of Earth materials properly. And you'll never be able to do it, and I'll have you for my slave.
Now what am I going to do? The Earth is made up of more than just solids.
What a fuss you do make. The problem isn't really all that hard, you know.
Well, that's very well for you to say. You don't have to be this troll slave.
And neither do you, if you'll just think a bit. Oh, the Earth is made of solid materials, but not only of solid materials. Think about what the troll said. Think about the river. Tell me about the river.
Well, the river is water.
Oh, exactly. Like the water in that bucket. Now tell me, what do you know about water?
Well, water is wet. Water can pour. The water takes on the shape of whatever you put it in. Water is a liquid.
So?
Oh, you mean there are liquids that make up the Earth as well as solids. Liquids like the water in the ocean and the water in rain and the water in that river.
Quite so. And the water in that bucket.
But I don't understand how the troll changed the solid ice to a liquid.
Well, ice is a solid, but it's really water in a solid state. And if you get it hot, it will become a liquid again.
Hey, that's right. It's still the same water, isn't it? It's just changed from one state of matter to another.
Oh, right. It changed from a solid to a liquid when the troll made it hot.
Oh, good. I can't wait to tell that terrible troll.
The terrible troll. If he's coming back, I'm leaving.
Thank you. Goodbye.
You're gonna be my slave. You're gonna be my slave. The second day is already over, and I bet you still don't know the answer to the question.
I do too. The earth materials are solids and liquids. That's what the river is, a liquid.
Liquids? Yeah, but what's a liquid?
Well, obviously, the little girl meant that water was one of the natural liquids on the earth. There's lots of water in the earth. But I wonder what some of the other natural liquids are.
How about petroleum? That's a natural liquid. It comes from deep in the earth, and we use it for gasoline or petrol to run our cars. And we use it for making plastics.
Oh, and I can think of another natural liquid. Look at this. It's lava from a volcano. Lava is liquid rock, and it's another one of the natural liquids in our earth.
I wonder if those are the liquids the little girl told the troll about.
Liquids? Yeah, but what's a liquid?
Water and petroleum and lava, those are natural liquids, and they're all materials that make up our earth.
Oh, bother! You tricked me again. Now I won't be able to have you as my slave for the next 100 years. Oh, but wait a minute. Let me see that bucket again. Oh, that water may be a liquid now, but how about now? Oh, I'm evaporating it. Now it's not just a liquid. What's that coming off the top? That's not a liquid. It's not a solid either. And hey, what about the wind blowing through the trees up there? That's not a solid or a liquid either. So you're not so smart. There's more to Earth materials than solids and liquids. So you still haven't broken the spell. And now you've only got one more day to come up with the answers. You'll never be able to do it.
One more day. That's all I've got. And then I'll have to be the troll slave forever.
Unless you start to use your common sense.
Well, that's very well for you to say. You don't have to be the troll slave. And anyway, I don't see what else I can find out. There's nothing else left here to see.
Oh, you might try looking at that bucket for a start.
The water's changed. Now, how did the troll do that?
Oh, it doesn't matter how it happened. What matters is that the liquid is changing.
It's disappearing.
It's evaporating. First, you had solid ice. And when the troll added heat, you had liquid, the water. And then he added more heat and
the water turned into steam.
Oh, so what do you know about steam?
Well, it's a gaseous substance. Gases are around us everywhere, even if you can't see them. And gases expand to fill up a space. And steam has gas in it.
So?
Oh, I see. Some of it became a gas. That's another Earth material.
Oh, exactly. That's the only other one you need to know. The Earth materials are solids, liquids, gases.
Oh, wait till I tell that terrible troll. Ooh!
Tell the troll what?
Uh-oh. Time for my exit.
Tell the troll what?
That the Earth is made up of 3 states of matter. Solids and liquids and gases.
Gases? What are gases?
Gases. Let's see. What did she mean by gases? Well, to begin with, air. Air is really a mixture of natural gases. Maybe we can't see them. But they're there.
Oh, and what about the natural gas that comes from deep in the earth? The gas we use for cooking and heating our homes.
That's right. So I guess the girl knew what she was saying when she said the Earth was made of gases as well as solids and liquids. Let's see if that's all she needed to know.
Gases? What are gases?
Gases, like natural gases that come from deep inside our Earth. And gases that are around us all the time in the air. That's what I mean by gases. So now, I don't have to be your slave, because I answered your silly old questions. The Earth is made up of solids, liquids, and gases. They're the Earth's materials.
Oh, bother. You got all the answers. You're no fun. I'm gonna go find somebody else to be my slave. Where'd that dopey dragon go?
And so the little girl went on her way, and she didn't have to be the troll's slave for 100 years. And now, if anyone should ask you what materials the Earth is made of, what would you say?
Da-da-tum, da-da-tum, da-da-tum.
From the mountains to the plateaus to the
Prairies,
ocean.
What?
Prairies. The line goes from the mountains to the prairies.
What's the difference? I mean, a prairie is a grassland, and so is a plateau. Well, maybe a plateau is flat, and a prairie is more rolling, but they're sort of similar.
Well, I guess a prairie and a plateau are more alike than a mountain and a plateau.
Maybe I need to read that Pete and Barney story again. The one where they went on the magic carpet to see all sorts of different landforms.
I don't think I remember that one.
What's the one where they accidentally found out about the differences in the Earth's surface? Islands and mountains and canyons, things like that. Maybe you've heard tell of this particular adventure of those wild and wicked pirates of old, Barney and Pete. Seems that once these two daring adventurers had been sleeping all night on the sand of a warm, friendly island they visited. It was a peaceful, beautiful night, but when they awoke in the morning, they were in for a terrible surprise. Pete grabbed Barney by the shoulder. "Barney," he said, "our ship's gone." Barney sat up and rubbed his eyes. Pete was right. Their ship had disappeared. "What's that?" said Pete suddenly, pointing to the sand in front of him. "It's a carpet," said Barney. "And it's got writing all around it," said Pete, looking closely at the border of the carpet. He read some of the words aloud. "This is a magic carpet, so use it, please, with care. Just tell it where you want to go. It will take you anywhere." "A magic carpet," chanted Pete. "That's what we need to help us find our ship." Barney wasn't too sure, but as there wasn't any other way of getting around, he climbed onto the carpet with Pete. "Look what it says here," said Pete, reading one of the verses. "Here's a place that's always high, higher than what's round about. There may be a view from way up there. Why don't you try it out?" "A view, that's what we want," said Pete, "so we can see our ship. Let's go." Barney was about to say something, but he didn't have a chance. No sooner had Pete finished his sentence than the magic carpet began to wiggle and shake, and in no time at all, it was flying high over the ocean. "Oh, my," said Pete, holding on tight. "I don't think I like this.
It's not nearly as nice as being on a ship. And it won't do us any good either, said Barney. We won't find our ship on a mountain. A mountain? Gasped Pete. Is that where we're going?
Poor Pete and Barney. They would be lost without their pirate ship, wouldn't they? But I think it would be neat to have a magic carpet to ride around on and fly over all the different landforms.
Which mountains would you want to fly to? There's so many different mountains in the world. Look at these. They come in different sizes. And they come in different shapes. Mountains often have snow on the top because they're up high where the air is colder. Not all mountains are steep and craggy. Some are even rounded on the top from the effects of wind and weather.
And between mountains there are valleys. Valleys can be wonderful places for growing things because they're protected by the mountains and they get a good water supply from the mountains. And often new soil has been washed down from the mountains too.
A lot of times you can find a stream at the bottom of a valley.
We can see the new soil on the right side of this valley stream. And here we can see how rich the growth can be around a valley stream.
But I don't think a stream, even a valley stream, sounds like the best place in the world for a pirate ship to be.
Let's go back to the story and see what happened.
Pete didn't think it was worth going down onto the mountain, so he looked at the verses on the carpet again and read the next piece of writing aloud. It's a long way down, and its sides are steep. At the bottom you may find a river that is deep. A river, said Pete excitedly. That's what we need.
But I really think,
Barney began, but Pete interrupted him quickly.
That's what we need, Barney. Let's go.
No sooner had he said these words than the carpet took off again at great speed.
Oh, my, said Pete. This is going to be a rough ride. And it isn't going to do us any good, said Barney, because we're headed for a canyon.
A canyon? Gulped Pete.
How do you know? Because that's what a canyon is, said Barney. It's a landform that is very steep and deep and probably has a river at the bottom.
And somehow I can't see Barney and Pete finding their pirate ship in a canyon, can you?
It might be a little hard for them to find their way down into it. A canyon can be formed by a river flowing along a smooth piece of land. And over billions of years, the river wears away at the surface of the earth, and the riverbed gets lower and lower down. This is what the beginning of a canyon might look like. In millions and millions of years, that river could wear its way a long way down through the rock and soil, until it looks more like this river in Chelly Canyon. See how deep the walls of the canyon are?
It's interesting how the canyon walls look as if they've been sliced through, and you can see all the different layers of rock that normally would be hidden underground.
The canyon's a pretty interesting place to visit, but somehow I don't really imagine finding a pirate ship there.
I wonder if Barney and Pete ever went down into the canyon. Let's go on with the story and find out.
Pete peered cautiously over the edge of the carpet. I don't think we'd find our ship down there, he said.
You're absolutely right, said Barney.
He began to read the verse at his end of the carpet, but Pete interrupted him by reading another verse aloud.
Here's a place that's level and very often flat, with hardly any trees and such. Now, how would you like that?
Oh, I like the sound of that, said Pete. Let's go.
It really won't do us any good,
Barney began, but it was already too late. The carpet was taking off again at tremendous speed.
Well, now you've done it, said Barney. Oh, I don't know what you think you're going to find on a plane.
A plane? Asked Pete. Why do we need a plane? We've already got a flying carpet.
Not an airplane, said Barney. A grassy plain. A piece of level, flat land that's good for growing grasses and things, but not much good for trees.
Is there any water there? Asked Pete.
Plains sometimes have rivers running through them, said Barney, and sometimes they have lakes on them.
Well, that sounds good, said Pete. Maybe we'll find our ship there.
And maybe they won't. Plain. That's a good word for the plains, because that's really what they are, sort of plain. Plains are low-lying places, and not very many trees grow there, and it makes it a good place to have farm and grazing lands for animals.
See how flat the land is? very different from mountains or canyons.
And see how the grass can grow well on the plains when it gets the sun and water it needs.
Plains may be near mountains, but they're very different from valleys because they're wider and they don't have mountains on both sides. And there's another sort of plain, too, called a plateau. A plateau is a high-up plain, and it can happen when a mountaintop is worn down and flattened over millions of years.
So a plateau and a plain are sort of the same, except a plain can be on low ground and a plateau is high. Still, it doesn't seem like a very good place to find a missing pirate ship. I wonder where Pete and Barney would go to next.
Barney thought it might be a good idea to bring the flying carpet down on the plain for a while so they could rest. But Pete wanted to find the pirate ship as soon as possible. "Hey, listen to this," he said to Barney as he bent over the next lot of printing on the carpet.
"I wish you'd let me read," began Barney, but Pete went right on.
"There's very little rain in this very dry spot, but there's plenty of sand, and the days can be hot." "Doesn't that sound good?" said Pete. "Hot days and lots of sand. All that sand could be a beach. Let's go!" And no sooner had he said this than the carpet took off again in another direction.
"I don't think you're going to like where we're going," said Barney, pulling his hat firmly down over his ears. "We're going to a desert."
"A desert?" asked Pete unhappily. "How do you know?"
"Because a desert is a place that's usually very hot during the day," said Barney, "even though it's often freezing cold at night. And a desert is a place where there's very little rain."
A desert is a place which might look as if nothing could live there, but in fact there's lots of life on the desert, life specially suited for desert living. In the Arizona desert, we can see special low bushes that can grow even in all that heat. There are many different types of desert plants, so deserts aren't really bare.
And deserts aren't really as sandy as most people think. More often, the desert has a hard, gravelly surface, and sometimes it's even covered by fist-sized rocks. And deserts don't have to be hot. You can have deserts in cold places, too.
And deserts aren't always flat, either. The wind blows the sand into hills called sand dunes. Some deserts even have what looks like sand mountains.
Water is scarce in a desert. Water holes can be as much as 200 kilometers apart, but where there is good water, you'll find trees and other plants. A place like that is called an oasis.
But even an oasis wouldn't be the best place for finding a lost pirate ship. I guess Pete and Barney would have to try at least one more landform in their search.
Pete didn't like the sound of the desert at all. "I don't want to go there," he said. "Isn't there somewhere else we can try?"
"Yes, there is," said Barney. "There's a verse at my end of the carpet, which is probably the one we want."
"Well, why didn't you say so before?" asked Pete. Barney took no notice of the question and read the verse aloud.
"Surrounded by water on every side. This is a good place for a boat to hide."
"Well, that's it, said Pete. "Let's go."
"That's what I've been trying to tell you all this time,"
said Barney as the magic carpet sped up once more.
"A piece of land surrounded by water is an island."
"And an island is right out in the middle of the ocean," said Pete. "Come on, carpet, let's hurry."
An island sounds like a good place for them to look. But Pete wasn't quite right when he said that islands are always in the middle of the ocean. Some islands are, like the Hawaiian Islands. They're out in the middle of the ocean. And this type of island is called an oceanic island.
But there are islands closer to the shore of a big landmass. They're called coastal islands. Places like Manhattan Island, Staten Island, and Long Island in New York, and lots of smaller islands along the coastline. They're all coastal islands.
And there are even inland islands, like these in the middle of lakes and streams. In the city of Montreal in Canada, that's an entire city that is built on an island. But I guess the sort of island that Pete and Barney needed is the type of island that's in the middle of the ocean. Let's find out if they found their ship.
It took the carpet no time at all to fly directly to the island. "Look," said Pete as the island came into view. "That's the island we started on. And look," he added, leaning dangerously over the side of the carpet.
There's our ship, way around on the other side of the island. Well, we certainly had to go the long way around to find it, said Barney. Yes, said Pete as the carpet touched down on the sand. We went to mountains and valleys, plains and plateaus, canyons and deserts, all those different landforms, and the only one we really needed was an island.
Well, I'm glad they finally got their ship back, even though it did take them a long time to find it.
Well, story time's over. Back to the dusting.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam.